Hello, everybody. I apologize for my tardiness. I just wrapped up another session, so I'm kind of on the go today. So you have an extra minute or two to grab a drink of water, refresh your coffee. Just gotta pull up these slides. All right. I'm gonna share our screen. Here you go. All right. If you are in this session, you are here because you want to know a little bit more about how digital tools can enhance family engagement. It is a passion of mine, and some of my facilitators on the call today, we always chat about it. So we're happy that you guys have come to join us. So let me just make sure I have everything ready for you guys. We are going to move this one over here. My apologies, folks. Literally just hopped off of a call. All right. So while we are having our last couple of minutes, our folks kind of getting settled with us and me kind of taking a break too, I'm going to make sure that you guys have your resources. So these are our facilitators. If our folks who are really joined in creating these slides for you guys, some of them are already in some other sessions, so they won't be able to join us today. But I know for sure it is myself, Devlin Jackson, and I have my awesome co-facilitator Sherman in the building with me, and I believe Adam is joining us. Not quite sure if he was able to make it because he's helping out at help desk today. And Steve is also a part of the family technology team, but he also has another session at this very time. So he sent his well wishes and his apologies for not making it. But those are the folks who helped create this slide deck and who would help with family partnerships and technology. So let's get started. If you haven't already, either in our main sessions or in the session before signed in, make sure you sign in today. I'm going to drop that sign in the chat right now because we want to make sure you guys get paid for being here. We appreciate you coming, but we also know that you don't have to be here. So let's make sure you get paid for your time. I'm going to drop this in here. And then one thing I learned last session was that the chat was acting funny. So we're just going to go ahead and cut that off and cut it back on. Now you guys should be able to chat freely in there, but let me know if it gives you some issues. You can also go ahead and scan it. If not, feel free to write something in the chat. Let us know if you're having difficulties with that and we'll try to get you some support. Information about getting paid. If you have questions and saying, hey, like, I don't really know how I'm going to get paid or what I'm supposed to do, this slide deck gives you all the answers to all the questions. And if it doesn't, send in a help desk ticket and we are happy to help you guys with it. I'm going to drop in our slides so that you have access to those too. So I'll do a double one, slides and sign in. And it looks like Adam was able to join us. Yay. I was just telling them that you were in help desk. So I wasn't sure if you were going to be able to join us, but I'm happy that you're here.
Thanks. I just had to wrap up an issue with one of our participants. Glad to be here.
Happy that you're here. All right. So norms for today, please feel free to type those questions into the chat. Stay muted so that others can hear and take what you can today and come back for more later. We know that you guys are going to tons of sessions today, so we don't expect you to hear this stuff and be a Seesaw or a Synergy or a School Messenger expert. We do want you to know that this is a place where you can get some resources, but you can always message any of us if you need more hands-on support or one-on-one questions. We are here to help. We just want to give you guys little ideas to help make the start of the year successful. So our agenda for today, we're going to do a little bit of framing. We'll do a little resource share of the 3 digital tools that support family engagement at SFUSD. Then we'll let you choose your own adventure, choose which one you want to talk or you want to learn more about, or maybe you want to dive in with all 3. Then we'll have a quick little share out of takeaways and next steps of how you can use these digital tools when you're partnering with families this year. And then we'll share about how you can get more support at your school site or in your work throughout the school year. We'll do some closing moves. I'm going to go ahead and drop that information again. And we'll keep going. our meeting objectives for today. So during this meeting, we're hoping that educators will be able to familiarize themselves with several secure and dynamic digital learning tools that can also support family partnerships, explore resources that you can use with students and families to boost homeschool connections, and connect with SFUSD's Family Technology Support Team. That's what we hope. And so we can check in with you guys and check that feedback to see if we actually were able to do that today. All right, a little bit of framing. So when we're thinking about SFUSD and we're thinking about why technology matters for educational equity, we lean into these four pillars: engagement, empowerment, access, and closing gaps. How are we making sure that we are having both equity of access, making sure that each and every student has a device that's working and the Wi-Fi that's working for them to engage with the content, but also having the opportunity to explore with those and use those in their day-to-day lives so that they can be the successful, competent students that we want them to grow out of and become in SFUSD. And how does technology help with that? And so when we go back, we always kind of focus in our team about the mission and vision and really thinking about that every day, how we're providing each and every student with the quality instruction and equitable support to thrive in the 21st century. And then also thinking about that vision. If we're really doing those things in our mission, the way that we're getting there and the way that we're doing that is like making sure that all SFUSD students graduate as independent thinkers with a sense of agency who have attained academic and creative skills to lead productive lives and contribute to our community. And we all know in today's society that technology and digital learning is a huge part of that. So how are we making sure that all of our students are engaging with digital learning content and their families every day? So when they're outside in the regular world and doing their thing, they don't feel like they've missed something or they haven't been supported in what to help lead productive lives. And so the Family Technology Partnership Team is a part of the digital learning team who's doing Digital District Day today. But we really focus on collaborating with SFUSD departments, but also with community-based organizations and parent advisory councils to reimagine the role that SFUSD technology plays in supporting the development of students to thrive. So it's about 2 or 3 of us on the team within DLE, but how are we really sustaining and fostering those partnerships and really creating that two-way communication between families and schools so that students really have those digital learning opportunities across SFUSD. And so what I wanted to do before we started even diving in deep with what SFUSD resources are is kind of take a second and take a step back and kind of think about how we already engage with our families and connect with our families and communicate with our families. It could be digitally or not. So what I wanted to do is show you this quick little video clip, and then I'm going to have you guys kind of share in the chat. How are you guys already communicating and building those connections? Let me go ahead and share this sound with you really quickly. I want to make sure that the sound is right, so I want to take it out again. Okay. This one should be better.
Is it gonna be a good day? Say, I am respectful.
I am respectful.
Yeah.
All right. So school year starting up, we all have our tried and true ways of connecting and engaging with families. I just wanted to take just a quick second to maybe share 1 or 2 ways that you connect with families. Could be digitally, could be not digitally, but just kind of want to hear or see the ways that folks are engaging. So go ahead and write in that chat 1 or 2 ways you engage or connect. While you guys are typing, I can share mine. When I was in the classroom, K in first grade, I always sent home a newsletter that first day of school, if I couldn't send it in the mail beforehand, the first day, every family got a little picture of my family and a little bit about Miss Jackson, what I liked and what I didn't like, and made connections with how they could connect with me. See a lot of introductory letters, family liaisons, looping in folks who are at your school sites. That's awesome. Text, email, phone calls, flyers. Miss Martin does a little bit of it all. All right, I see we have some new people. Tell me about your students. Awesome. See some folks using WeChat and WhatsApp. We're going to talk a little bit about that. School messenger, emails and welcome letters. Ooh, okay. Sending links and emails about student-led conferences via Synergy. Awesome, awesome. All right. Checking in with families to build that positive relationship. I also remember calling folks and saying, hey, I'm going to be your kid's kindergarten teacher. And families love those things. Posting pictures. You guys got it. You guys do all these amazing things of connecting with families before school even starts and then once school starts. So what we would love to do is really chat about how you can do those things in safe and secure ways. Sorry. And so SFUSD, some of you may or may not know, works really hard to put in some data and privacy securities and kind of keep our families safe. How do we keep our families and our students safe? And so we work really hard with looking at all the ways that digital learning tools and apps share our students' information, share our families' information. And if we feel like it's a way that's not safe or may compromise our students' security or our family security, we can just kind of put a red block up on it. But it's been really hard throughout these last few years to kind of share with educators and school sites that we only really have 3 approved and recommended ones. And these are our tried and true. I was in another session, I was like, oh, it's the 3 S's. So if you like those type of acronyms, go ahead, the 3 S's. Synergy, Seesaw, and School Messenger. These 3 resources are approved by SFUSD, which means that they are compliant with all of our security and privacy and data measures, and they're recommended, which means that we found really cool ways that schools and parents can engage with them and use them to elevate our mission and vision by helping our students lead those productive lives and use those creative skills, but in safe ways that still keeps their information, their personal information safe and secure. So we're going to chat a little bit about each one of these. And so Synergy, I'm going to let Sherman kind of take that one over and lead us a little bit about what parent view, teacher view, and admin view are and what they do. I'm going to chat very briefly about Seesaw, and then we're going to chat also a little bit about School Messenger and how you guys can use them. So let's keep going.
Hello, folks. My name is Sherman. I work for the Student Information System, which is Synergy, and I am their user success lead. I work closely with Devlin to make sure that we can facilitate communication between Synergy, our families, and our admin. We have both been teachers in the district, and one thing that I realized in all of these workshops is nobody ever really told me the what's behind Synergy. So I kind of want to start this framing off with what is Synergy, right? Other than something that's painful and non-user friendly. So Synergy is home for all of our information. So we have SACE, our Special Education Information Systems. Those are your 504, your IEP kiddos. All of their information goes into SACE. That feeds into Synergy. You have Illuminate. That's all of your state testing information. That feeds into Synergy. We have our student nutrition services. This is our getting information on economic forms, things like that to feed our kiddos. That feeds into Synergy. So all of those information stores into Synergy. And you're going to hear a couple words. You're going to hear admin view, student view, teacher view, family view. Those are just portals for Synergy. So the admin view is what your clerks and your principals are going to see. Your students is going to be what your students are going to see on their apps. Teacher view is going to be what you're going to see, but they all feed information from Synergy. That being said, the one thing that pulls information from Synergy, which we use for which we use for our calls and our texts, is School Messenger. And I cannot stress this enough. If your family's information is incorrect in Synergy and there's an emergency at the school, we're using School Messenger to contact the family. It's not going to get there if it's not the right phone number or it's not the right email. So as user-friendly, as unuser-friendly as this is, it's a really important tool to keep with our families and communicating and to get all our information on our kiddos. Next slide, please. And this is how we use it. Again, kind of just a big overview. What I took you through were the inputs of Synergy, what comes in. Those were the student systems, the SAFE and Illuminate. Also, this is how we get information from our families. Every year they fill out an emergency card to make sure we have the right contact information, whether it's their email or their phone number. So they're giving that to us, making sure their vaccines are there. They are also doing acknowledgements. So we are getting information from their family, especially contact information. There are a few schools who use our OLR, which is our online registration. So students use Student View to pick their classes. Teachers use it to input grades. Nurses are using it if there was an accident or an incident on there. Other staff, psychiatrists, just other members of staff can use it to put notes in there. It also puts out things. So again, this is how we still have hard copies of everything, but every parent now has their emergency card with school application and acknowledgements online. It's also the way that we can communicate with folks. And last but not least, it's where we store our data. So all of us are funded. We work for a school district. We're dependent on numbers. So if we're not putting our numbers, whether it's our grades, our statistics, or the right addresses, we're losing out on money, we're losing out on funding, we're losing out on data. So it's very important that if you have a chance, take an hour or two, get familiar with Synergy. Your entire year will go much easier if you learn how to use this tool. If you are a teacher, there is not a time where you will not be using this. It's every day, it's attendance. How are you going to use it? So each one of you should have a copy of this in your slides. So, or you all are going to get a copy of the slides. So these are the main ways as teachers you're going to use it. You can do reports, which is like student schedules. You can print out all of the list of families you have. You can print out seating charts, communication. You can email things. Again, if you and your school site have committed to really using Synergy for all that it's worth, and you're taking really great notes, like every time the lunch bell rings, this kiddo jumps up, great. And somebody else is reading that notes and they're like, hey, every day at noon, this kiddo seems to have some kind of issue. Synergy can be a super powerful tool in using it to communicate with other teachers about what's going on in the classroom. And your parents don't see these notes. So one of the questions I get frequently is, if I'm writing incident notes about why a student gets sent out, does the parent see it? The parent does not see it unless it's emailed to the parent. That being said, while you are in there doing an incident report, if you happen to send a kiddo out, it's super easy because you're on that kiddo's profile to just click on the parent. You can email them directly through Synergy. This is also where people will go for master schedule, student and families. Oh, families, this is very important. If I have any clerks in the room, or actually anybody all my teachers, you can see who has Parent View active. Those are reports. I believe most of you can run them. If not, you can ask your clerks to run them. And when you run them, you'll see what parents have Parent View and what parents don't. Because if they don't have Parent View, the number may not have been verified. So the number may be off, or they're not going to get the emails. So you can run a report and see who has an active account and who doesn't have an active account, and nudge that parent. And those are the resources to help them activate it. So last question, how can I get help for myself and our staff? If you are new to SFUSD, I have office hours from 2:50 to 3:50 today, so you're welcome to drop into that. I had a new teacher session yesterday, and I encourage some of you all to come by for that. If not, each one of these toolkits is built to help all of our staff at SFUSD. The Teacher View toolkit will take you from everything from running attendance, changing a student's nickname, what they prefer to be being called, to that's where you're going to do your grades and your incidents. You can also communicate to parents. Your admin view is going to be where your admin is going to log in. That's going to be where your clerks are going to find out how to run those parent view codes. I'm not sure if they're the only ones who have access to the parent view codes. Devlin, can you run one of those? Well, you have higher access than a teacher. I do believe principals and clerks may be the only one to run those reports, but you are welcome to try it as a teacher, and there's instructions in there to try it as a teacher. If not, I would ask your clerk for those reports, and they'll be happy to run them for your classes. Student view, especially for our high school kiddos or our middle school kiddos, if you're having trouble with students and you are able to enter your assignments. Once you enter your assignments into Synergy, you can ask for help from a caring adult or anybody else who's on their account and be like, hey, we sent home this assignment, here's the email. They'll be able to view the assignment if it's linked in there. If you have any PDFs that you've uploaded on there, you can use you can use Synergy as a tool to show your assignments to your parents. You want to share portfolios. You want to say, hey, just a reminder, this is due in a week. Please make sure your student sees this. You can do all of that. If your students are like, I don't know where to see this, I don't understand what's going on with Student View, the Student View Toolkit will show you how to help your students understand Student View better. The Parent View Toolkit, if you are wanting to support your caring adults with how they can better use it. I don't know how to update my contact info. I can't tell when my kid is absent. There's some great features on Parent View that will send them emails when their kids are absent, and other features like that. So if you want to take a second and see that, it's a really great resource that you can offer to parents if they're having difficulty navigating the app, and there's resources in all of the language that we support. Lastly, to the side of that where it says need assistance. If you are new to technology and very wary, we have a test environment. What this means is you can look at Synergy once you have a Synergy login, and it'll look exactly like your normal Synergy, except it will be, I do not think, I can check on pre-K programs if they're included in Synergy yet, as far as attendance and all that goes. But what the test environment will do is it looks just like Synergy. So if you want to practice putting in your assignments and messing with the grades, but you don't want to mess up your classes, it's a great place to play with Synergy and feel comfortable with it. Also, we have a help desk. Please use those help desk hours. They're going to give you a quick response time. And the last thing we have is help desk tickets. So if it's late at night, my teachers work all hours of the night, it's 10 p.m., you need help on this one thing, please, please, please send us screenshots. The number one thing you will hear from every help desk ticket, especially if it's a tech thing, is send us a screenshot. So save us an email too, send us a screenshot, do that help desk ticket if the hours are closed, and we'll be happy to get back to you and support you as much as we can. I think that's the last of my slides, Devlin. Let's see, that is the last of my slides. I wish you all the best beginning of the school year. Thank you for serving our kiddos in our district.
Thank you so much, Sherman. And Sherman is also downplaying it. She is a Synergy guru. Any question that I have about Synergy, she's my go-to person. So make sure you lean in on the support and the expertise. All right, we are going to switch gears a little bit and go to School Messenger. Adam, did you want to take this one? I think you may have had to go back to help desk. I can't see you anymore.
I am here.
Okay, cool. Do you want to take this one?
But for some reason, I can't turn my video on. But that's
Oh,
okay.
no.
You don't need to see me. You can focus on the screens. One of the approved platforms, as was indicated earlier, is the School Messenger system. The School Messenger system, put very simply, is a robocaller. It's an auto dialer. But in addition to being able to deliver pre-recorded messages, it can also deliver text messages and emails. And it delivers the messages very, very rapidly. Where it differs from the Synergy's parent view options for communications is that as I said, it can do text, pre-recorded phone calls, as well as email. So it's a very, very powerful tool. It's looks very daunting when you first start working with it, but it's actually pretty easy once you get into the groove. And at this point, well, actually, I should not say at this point, but it is a system that is primarily used by school office staff. So it's not typically used by teachers, but your school principal or other administrator or other designated staff, like a parent liaison or secretary or IRF, are typically the folks who would be using the system. So in order to be able to use School Messenger, the principal does have to put in a request to have additional staff designated. But before I go on, can we play this little video? It's a 60-second video that will give you a little bit more insight into School Messenger.
Sure thing, I'll play it now.
School life can be very predictable and not so predictable. When the unpredictable happens, there's a better way to control your response. School Messenger, the trusted platform for school community engagement. With School Messenger, reach parents and your community with recorded calls, emails, texts, push notifications, and desktop alerts. Launch broadcasts while sitting at your desk, on the move, or at home. Parents will love how they can manage preferences and receive messages in the language of their choice. Reach an entire community, a class, a grade, or a group based on your criteria. Enjoy newfound freedom and savings from automating routine reminders and alerts.
Thanks for playing that. One of the great things also about School Messenger is it has a functionality called text-to-speech, where if you don't, if you need to get a message out in different languages and you don't have a native speaker of that language to record a message for you, if you type the message into School Messenger in English, there's a translate button that will use the Google Translate engine to translate that message into multiple languages, and then it'll actually play the recording once the calls go out. So it's a really powerful tool. It'll also do the same thing for text messages. So it's really a pretty good tool for rapid communications for your schools. As stated earlier, School Messenger is our system, Synergy is our system of record. That is the origin of all of the contact information for email, text messages, and phone calls in School Messenger. So it's really important that we have the updated contact information from your families in Synergy, since that is the source. School Messenger also is the system that we use to notify parents on a daily basis of student absences. That'll be starting up the Tuesday after Labor Day this year to give schools a chance to settle down the student schedules and master schedules. That's about it. If you have any questions about School Messenger that are covered here, you can submit a help ticket at help.sfusd.edu. Thank you.
Adam, I had two questions, but they're kind
Yes.
of the same that came up, but they were direct messages. One was, how can teachers use School Messenger, and is there appropriate information for School Messenger? And then the second question kind of asks the same thing, like, do teachers have access to using School Messenger to communicate with families? So just wanted to.
The answer is yes. There is a School Messenger component called TIM, Teacher Initiated Messaging, that auto rosters your students, again from Synergy. The only drawback is that in order to utilize it, parents do have to download and install the School Messenger app. And the reason for that is that it's secure messaging and it keeps a record of all home to school communications, which is what we're required to do, versus a straight out text burst, which we would never have a record of.
Adam, don't they have to also be designated by their site as well? So it's not necessarily the district's recommendation for individual communication?
No, they actually, not for teacher initiated messaging. They do not need to be pre-authorized. They simply need to log in. And like I said, the rosters are already set up, but they do have to get buy-in from the parents. Otherwise, they won't be communicating with every parent in their class or classes.
Sorry for answering that wrong in the chat, Megan.
Is it meant for mass communications instead of individual communications? It is more geared towards mass communications. To be honest, I think it would be cumbersome to set up one message for an individual parent or guardian.
Thank you, Adam. I also put in his information. Uh-oh, did it get deleted? I put further up because I feel like I got a couple questions, but I put Adam's information if you have a school messenger specific question. But I think you guys are all bringing up great points. If we're thinking about it's kind of taking me off script a little bit, but thinking about continuity of the family's experience, if one teacher is deciding to use teacher initiated messages in, let's say, kindergarten, and then in first grade they don't use it again, and then in second grade the other teacher does, that's how we end up having families kind of drop off and say, I don't want to use anything because it's just too many messages at once. So I think it's really, really important that if you guys are thinking about using one or two or maybe all of these resources, how you're streamlining it across your school so that every educator in the school is using it in the same format. So that and those are conversations that we're happy to kind of sit and chat with sites on in a more detailed space. But I think really thinking about how all of these systems play together, and then how can we use different ones for different things.
That's
awesome.
Absolutely right. And that's one of the reasons why it's, to be honest, teacher initiated messaging is not being broadly used, because it's not a tool that has been broadly adopted across the district.
So I see some more teacher initiated messages, but before we go down into that exploration of that one, I want to share one more of our digital tools for family engagement that may actually help with that, and everyone has access to it already. And that
also,
is,
I dropped in our chat a link to the teacher initiated messaging information.
Thank you, Adam. I appreciate it. And that brings us to Seesaw. So Seesaw is a tool that most educators on this call have seen as like, that's how we can put really cool activities for our students that kind of bridge the learning. But if we're doing that blended learning, like, hey, we did this really engaging read aloud, now I'm going to have you guys practice it or sort some words out or do something in a digital learning format. A lot of educators don't know that Seesaw also has a really cool messages component where educators can chat with families, and admin can also be a part of those conversations. So we wanted to give you guys a chance to just watch a quick little reflection. This educator is not in SFUSD. I believe he is in Washington, Oregon area, and they have a school district kind of similar to ours. So I thought it would be nice to kind of hear his kind of quick and dry conversation. It's a much longer podcast that Seesaw holds, but this little segment I felt really reached to like what the power of Seesaw and family engagement could do if they were merged together.
With Seesaw, I think the power is I get to hear my kid narrate what they're learning in the classroom. Whether that's over the top of a picture that they've taken or they're doing an actual video, and I'm listening to that, watching that. I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna be tied right into that. I'm not gonna get tired of hearing my kid with that little short video clip talk. So, and I'm going to share with the person next to me. Oh, look at my kid. It's the dad pulling out their wallet of pictures. But it's hey, here's my kid. Look what my kid's doing. I can't stress enough how important I think that tool is. And the other piece I think it does is because I have that window into the classroom, when my student gets home and I ask them, I'm not asking them, hey, what'd you do today? And I'm going to get the answer, nothing. And that's the classic answer, right? And then you have to like probe and pull teeth to figure out what they did in class today. No, I got to see exactly what they did in class today, and I'm going to ask that specific question.
So kind of going back to that last thought of that, Seesaw allows for students to explore digitally, explore and share and celebrate their learning. So it can go from having them post a lesson or record their reading, or they were working on writing and this task was really hard and they talked about their whole process, or they're sharing what they're thinking in science and math in a very visual way. You can then share that exact resource, that exact clip of what that student did with their families who are a part of the Seesaw learning loop. So it gives you that way to like bring families into the classroom, highlight what they're doing, but also in a secure format. I know that there are other apps and resources that you can take a picture of and send the families. Those aren't secure in SFUSD. Seesaw is the tool that is approved to kind of share students' work with their family in a digital way. School Messenger is a way to kind of send those huge blasts or those robocalls if the district is having something to share. Maybe your admin wants to highlight a literacy night. That's a way that they can do a robocall to everyone in the school. Synergy is that hub where everything comes through. If the information is accurate in Synergy, then what gets pushed out to Seesaw is correct. What gets pushed out to School Messenger is correct. The reason why we're saying use those three is because they are approved, which means that there won't be any weird wonky data concerns. If there is an issue, you have a team of people here in DOT, Department of Technology, to support with that. And we have long-lasting communication with each one of those platforms where we meet with them weekly, bi-weekly sometimes, to kind of see what's working and what's not working so that it's a system that is coherent and safe for all of the SFUSD community when other resources don't have that piece. So what we wanted to do now, and I hope that kind of gives you a little overview of the 3 S's or the 3 digital learning tools that are recommended and approved for family engagement in
With
SFUSD.
Seesaw,
Sorry. But we want to give you guys some time to explore. So if you've heard some stuff about Synergy, but you're like, I still want to know more, this is the place where you would go. If you're like, I already know how to use Seesaw, I don't know how to use that family component, we encourage you to go there. If you're like, hey, robocall seems really, really interesting and something we want to engage as a school site or something I may want to share with my admin when we go back to school the next couple of days, I encourage you guys to look at this. Also, feel free to take this slide and share it with your network, share it with the people who you're partnering with, share it with classroom educators who maybe weren't able to come to this session or weren't able to come to Digital District Day. When you guys are walking back into your team meetings, this is a great grade level conversation, like how are we going to use these things moving forward? In the interest of time, I have about 20 minutes left. What I'm going to do, just want to look at our agenda. I think I'm going to give you guys, did we say 15? I think we're going to go with 10 minutes and then we'll kind of just, the wrap up I can do a little bit quicker. But what I'm going to do is drop the link to the slide deck in the chat, excuse me. And on slide 24 is where you can kind of click through these 3 different and choose your path. And then we'll give you guys some time to just kind of explore them. I know 10 minutes is not enough, but please remember that you can, whatever you learn here, you can take with you. This is not the only time that you guys have to look at it, but we are a little short on time. So I'm going to drop those links in the chat, give you 10 minutes. If you have a question while you're exploring them, feel free to write it in the chat. And then we'll also have some share time so you guys can unmute and share those questions as well. I'm going to drop this slide in the chat. Share it with all of you guys. And you can get started on slide 24. And that's how you can choose which section you would like to go to. I'm going to give you guys until 10:49. I'm going to go on mute for now, but feel free to just light up the chat or direct message me if you want to do a one-on-one text conversation.
All right, folks, and we're just about to wrap up. We got about 10 more seconds, and then we'll take the next 5 minutes to go ahead and share. And in the chat, how might you use these resources or tools that were shared today? So we'll go ahead and answer that one first. If you feel like you want to come off mute, feel free to unmute and talk about it if you'd like to write in the chat. But our first question today is, how might you use the tools and resources shared? Any ideas? Anyone want to come off mute and share, or we can move on to the next question? Who would you like to share this information with? So now that you have a couple of ideas how to communicate with your families, ways to share assignments, how Synergy works and how School Messenger works, does your site have a plan to use that? Or who are some people that you might want to talk about all the resources you have here and plan on how to better communicate with your families this year? Go ahead and come off mute or put that in the chat.
I think what I would like to do is use Seesaw for the majority, and Synergy I could not get in, and I guess that would be attendance. But it sounds like Seesaw has a lot of capability, and I've used it before, but I can't really get into it because I'm a TSA and we have to get an approval to override the old principal for the new principal. But that's what I would do.
Ms. Banks, if you would like, as a TSA, you can still get Synergy access. It's view only Synergy access. You can ask your clerk for it, or you can also submit a help desk ticket and let us know that you are a TSA, the site you're at, and that you would like view only access to Synergy, so you can also get that access to Seesaw.
Okay, they have the old principal and stuff in there now. So it's open, but I know to go forward, I try to move around. I'm not doing very much, but thank you.
No problem. And the old principal will be there. Everything should sync next week. So if that is not removed by the beginning of the school year, again, go ahead and submit a ticket and we'll make sure we have the right information for your site in there.
Thank you.
All righty. Thank you, Sherman. We are going to continue on. There aren't any more questions. We'll continue on. Okay. When we're thinking about how we can leverage family technology partnership in your work, we created this little slide that just kind of holds some resources that you can use and engage with when you're thinking about how to bring in more support. You can always loop us in and we can help with that. We just want to give you guys access to the resources with the thinking that you will not have everything that you need right now when you leave the session. You will have the resources that will connect you to the right people and for you to have time to engage later on. We are always going to be here as a resource. Feel free to submit a help desk ticket. If it's not myself that responds, it'll be Sherman, Adam, or Steve who couldn't join us today, and we will be more than welcome to share with you. Also noticing in the chat, someone just chatted something. Oh yes, Spencer named that Seesaw seems like a more reliable way to get families info on assignments compared to Google Classroom. I am a Seesaw fan, so I'm going to say yes, but there are others that are Google Classroom fans, so they will say no. But yes, I think that when you're thinking about how to share resources, trying something and knowing that you may not be your tried and true for the rest of your education journey, but it's something that you can use and highlight with families, being transparent with them. We're trying these resources to see what works best. And if it doesn't work, let us know. Opening up that two-way communication so families feel like they are a part of this digital learning experience too, I feel like is what we are trying to help you guys leave with today.
Also, Seesaw
oh,
is a
go ahead.
tool that is typically used by elementary teachers. So for Google Classroom and things like that, it also syncs to Synergy. And remember that aside from Seesaw and Google Classroom, you can share directly the assignments through Synergy. But again, that's kind of a differentiation with most high school kids are not going to be using Seesaw or middle school. So it is going to be Google Classroom. So also when we're thinking about what tools we use, it varies with your audience, the kids you're teaching, and your families.
Thank you, Sherman. Here are some more resources. This is more of a family-facing one. So if you ever have a family that's saying, hey, I need help with not just technology-related things, but if it comes to transportation or nutrition, just having conversations about parent advisory councils, where they can join them, how they can be a part of. The Student Family School Resource Link is a one-stop shop. They can call, they can visit the link, and they can email, and someone will connect with them in their preferred language and kind of help them figure out what the department or who the place is that would help them with their specific concern. It's something that was elevated during COVID, and it's something that gets to stay with us. So it's a really great resource to help families who are trying to navigate where and who I go to for support. Lastly, in our last couple minutes together, just wanted you to know where you could go if you need more support or help. If you are leaving this call saying it was a great thing that we chatted about, but I'm still really confused about how to use Seesaw or how to use Synergy or School Messenger, you can always submit a help desk ticket. And like I said, it'll ping one of us and we will help and kind of reach out to you and kind of problem solve that with you. Also, each school is a part of a cohort. And within that cohort, each cohort has a digital learning partner. That is my team, the digital learning team. I support cohort 4 schools. But if you don't know who your cohort partner is, you can go ahead and click this link and it'll tell you who your cohort partner is and how to get in contact with them. If you don't know what cohort you are a part of, if you stay on the call, I can probably find it out for you and try to drop that link somewhere else, but I don't have it with me off the top of my head. But if you stay a couple minutes, I can probably find out who your cohort, what cohort you're a part of if I don't know off the top of my head. But these are great places to go if you're just like, I just have another question that I want to check out or see if someone can help me with. Lastly, in our last few minutes together, we want to make sure you guys fill out that feedback form. When you go to this form, it'll have you click the drop down using digital learning to enhance family engagement. So we know that that's feedback about our session. I'm going to drop that feedback link in the chat. Give me 1 second. In our last couple minutes, you can feel free to fill it out while you're here. And you are going to select using digital learning to enhance family engagement. And I'm also going to drop that title down so you know. And then once you've done that, it's been a pleasure to partner with you guys, sharing some resources with you. Please remember that you can reach out to us anytime throughout the school year. I'm going to stop the share. And then feel free to, if you have any questions, it's the perfect time to just kind of type them out or unmute and ask. And we're happy to answer questions for the next couple minutes.
I don't see your title on the feedback. Maybe I'm not looking good enough. Using digital learning. I don't see it.
Okay, let me go in as
Let me try
well.
again. Let me try again. It could be me.
No,
And
no,
what
no.
What would the cohort be for early education?
Oh, you guys actually have your own cohort. So that is ran by Steve. He's also our one of the family technology people. So I'll put his email in for you in the chat now.
Thank you. Let me try
but
this again. Okay. let me
he's-
close.
And then I'll go back and also look in the feedback form and see if I can find it. That's okay. Here is Steve's contact information. I think he's doing a seesaw session today, actually geared towards the early ed team.
I think I popped in for a
Yes,
little while.
you know what? He is, Devlin, because I just finished moderating for it, and that was Raz.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all over the place.
No, that's good. You get a
Thank
little bit of
you.
everything. You are very welcome. Now let me see if I can find how they titled this session. I'm telling you guys to go there and they don't have it. That's not a good thing.
It's there. You scroll down, you'll see it.
Okay, perfect. Okay,
Yeah,
I see it now. Thank you. It's like all the way, well, not all the way at the bottom, but close enough to the bottom. Are there any other questions or things coming up for you guys? It's also 12 o'clock, so I want you to make sure you eat some lunch before the second half of the day starts. What I'll also do is just put all of our contact information in here. A little wonky, but I tried to also put like what our roles were too. So Adam is the school messenger person. If you have a school messenger question, I would chat with him. Myself and Steve are family tech folks. So if you're interested in like how we're leveraging family technology or really trying to figure out what type of resource you would like to use with families, we're your people. And Sherman is our synergy guru. So if you have any synergy related questions or just want to know how it syncs up with other resources that we use in the district, she would be the perfect person to connect with. And we're all here. And if all else fails, fill out that help desk ticket and it'll get to the right person if you're not sure exactly who it is. We truly appreciate your time and hope you have a great lunch.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes,
Hi.
you can, Ms. Manning.
What is the cohort for MLK?
That's middle school.
So they have their own cohort.
It's middle school for sure. I just need to figure out who is that person. I think that it is Michael. Give me 1 second. Yes, Michael. I'm going to put his contact in here. But yes, middle school has their own cohort. Unless they're a part of like K-8 middle school, then that's me.
Okay.
Here, let me put his contact in here for you.
Thank you.
Shoot.
Oh, I also want to thank you for the opportunity to share information in the chat and just communicate in the chat. So
yes,
the plus as well.
I appreciate that that worked for you. I know when I was in the classroom, it's hard. You sometimes get siloed with just the people you work with, and they may not have the information that you need. So come into sessions like this and chatting with other people who have those same questions. Of course, any way we can support you guys, we would love to. All right. And then
Great session.
thank you. Okay, I'm almost done, Miss Manning. I don't want to mess up how you spell his last name.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I see it in that slide. It's under MS. It says MS and then his name.
Yes, that's the one I was
Okay.
copying right now.
Okay,
but-
thank you. I was
Okay.
nervous because I clicked it and it just came up with slides, but I didn't scroll down to look at all the slides to find
Oh, no,
it.
no.
Thank you.
You're fine.
All right. Thank you
All right.
again.
You're very welcome. Have a great start of your school year, everyone. I'm going to close this out now.
All right, thank you. Take care.
Thank you.